Restaurant Unstoppable. Inspire, empower, and transform the industry. What were the things that happened and changed to pivot? It was just word was getting out. Like, what things did you do anything differently, or is it just that time does it just take 2 years to get to the point where people know about you?
That's a great question, and I couldn't give you 100% certain answer. I think, we had the hamburger place, we had the tapas place. And the tapas place we had set up with, no, we want to do what we want to do. We don't give a shit what anybody else wants. It's going to be an authentic Spanish tapas bar. The bartender's going to serve you. We had toaster ovens and microwaves under the bar and a giant ice thing behind that, and that's the food. And, of course, people came in and said, we'd love a waiter, and do you guys have steaks? And we said, no, we're a tapas bar. We don't have steaks. And so they would say, oh, okay, and they'd leave. And at a certain point, we said, maybe we should have a steak. It's like, how about paella? And Sasha was like, no paella. Tapas bars don't do paella. It has to be done on top of the oven. If you do it in the oven, it's no good. And I was like, well, dude, you can do a pretty good paella in the oven. So this is the kind of fight we would have over this stuff. And, so in the end, we bent towards what people wanted to a certain point, and then not to a certain point. You're always kind of, there's a sliding scale when you have a restaurant concept. And on one side of the scale is, I'll make whatever people want. And then the other side of the scale is, no, I'll make what I want, and people will like it or they don't. And every restaurant, every concept has to decide where they are on that sliding scale. And there's no right answer to it. I don't want to imply that there's a magic spot. It depends on your concept, depends on who your customers are, depends on your price point, right? I mean, if you're Thomas Keller, then your scale can be way the hell over here on the right.
Yeah.
And if you're if you're fast food wings, it probably better be way over here on the left.
Yeah. This is something that comes up. This is like one of the things. The more I learn, the more I realize I don't know anything, because interviewing people, some people will say exactly what you said, where you got to do exactly what is true to you and what you're doing, because at the end of the day, like, you're the one that has to show up, and if you're not passionate about it, then you won't have the endurance. On the other side, they say
by the way, that's called a hobby.
Yeah, right. Yeah. On the other side, unless you're freakishly good and people want what your hobby is,
even if you're freakishly good, it's still a hobby.
But there's a chance that that's not going to happen.
It's not a business model. It's a hobby.
But people get lucky, and the people want to pay for you to do your hobby, but that's not the likely scenario. The more likely scenario is how to give people what they want.
It's somewhere in between.
But and I agree with what you're saying, is that there's a balance to everything. Right. There is no right answer. It's what's right for you.
I hate Budweiser. I think Budweiser tastes like shit, right? Mm-hmm. Never had it in the bar. People ask for it all the time. No, I'm not giving it to you. It's crappy beer. Here's something that's like Budweiser, but a lot better.
But I love that answer that you gave us. Right. Is that like there is that it's in the between. Like you gotta find that sweet spot where you gotta, what's the word? When two people get together and they have what's the word? Compromise. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, that's a great answer. I'm curious. You mentioned the burger stand. The burger stand isn't going to this day.
So I'm getting to the burger stand.
Okay.
So here we are with this tapas bar / we have one good steak and one chicken, I think, I don't know, and one fish. That was our entrees. This is, again, compromise. You can't have everything you want. We have a steak, we have a chicken, we have a fish. If you like them, great. If you don't, too bad. But one day, and again, this is where Sasha gets far more credit than I do, for being a visionary. One day, as with most days, the line to get into the tapas bar only has 28 seats, right? So it's got some high tables and bar stools.
Got it.
Actually, it's 42 seats if you include the bar stools. So anyway, the line to get in the tapas bar goes out the door onto the street and back into the burger place. So the people were eating, and the burger place was doing fine, but people eating burgers were typically looking at the rear ends of people waiting in line to get into the tapas bar. And one day Sasha said, we should just get rid of the burger place. I was like, what do you mean get rid of the burger place? This costs a lot to build that burger place, and we've been workshopping this stuff forever, and people love the burger place. And he's like, yeah, but let's get rid of it. Which was, again, not the way I think.
Yeah.
Right? That's not a process decision. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought, no, I guess he's right. And so we killed the burger place and turned it into a dining room.
Okay.
Sorry,
keep going.
Well, I'm just saying, we added 30-something seats, and they were crowded because it was a burger place. I mean, they were next to each other, but people filled it up, and they loved it.
So it's funny because originally what I was curious, I was about to ask about the burger place, and my thought is they're smart because they have their simple cash cow burger concept where they can just do burgers and fries.
It's completely hedging. It's completely hedging it in case nobody.
And that would be what
the
kept you afloat, right?
Yep.
It's smart,
That's what
like easy. And like that was what I was thinking. I was like, that's really smart. But now I'm thinking that wasn't the case because the tapas bar was so successful.
But who knew, right?
Yeah, but that is smart, and I think that's a big lesson to pull. Is like if you're doing something, if you're testing a market, if you can do something else to kind of like be your cash cow to support you to keep the boat afloat while the other thing that is a test needs momentum to like take off, right? It's like you're extending your runway in a sense.
I heard this was a while ago. Joe Connolly used to do interviews on CBS Radio. This is 20 years, way before Guy Raz did Joe Connolly used to do something like, and he was interviewing somebody who had this huge retail chain, and the guy, he was talking about how he started his business at Yonkers Raceway in the flea market. And Joe Connolly said, "Do you remember like what your biggest seller was?" He goes, "Oh, hell yeah, I do." He goes, "It was a rainbow-colored poncho." It was like back in the, hippie days.
Yeah.
And it was this, cloth poncho. And Joe Connolly said, "And, do you know why that was?" And the guy goes, "No." He says, "I have no idea. It's retail." He goes, "I have no idea why people bought it." He said, "The only thing I did know was I better hurry up and get a lot more ponchos."
Yeah.
And I remember listening to that and thinking, that is like great business advice. So I don't know why they wanted the tapas place. But once you realize that they do, it's like, okay, let go of the burger place.
Yeah.
Let go. You need those, like 2 seconds of math will tell you that, chairs and tables in there and no people in the kitchen in the burger place is a much better deal for you than continuing to run this second operation.
So let's